Morning, guys. Happy Friday. Oh, man, what a tough game yesterday for Ravens fans. Great game, just a tough game at the end. Really want to know what that 2 point play was going to be. Are they going to go back to Likely? Was it going to be one of these little screen passes to Flowers? Was it an RPO? I'm dying to know what that play was going to be. Likely's toes out of bounds, so we don't get to see it. Ravens fall. Ooh, where to start? Because this isn't Sports Center. I don't need to just recap the game here, especially a game like that everybody watched. Just a fantastic game. So there's three players that jumped out at me. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that and then talk about the gambling aspect of it. But the first thing that jumps out at me, let's just do the Chiefs and just get it over with because they're so dynamic. Like what is Buffalo doing? Like that was my takeaway. I write down as Xavier Worthy gets the ball and looks like it's the fastest guy I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, what is Buffalo doing? What is Buffalo doing? So for those of you that don't remember, Buffalo decided to trade, let the Chiefs get back into the first round to draft this guy this year after they traded with the Chiefs to let them draft Patrick Mahomes 5 years ago, 6 years, however long it's been. What are we doing? We're letting them get the fastest receiver now. I mean, their offense, Rashee Rice is really fast. I give the Ravens a lot of credit because Xavier Worthy, like when the Chiefs really figure it out, their offense is going to get even better. I mean, their offense is going to be super dynamic. And yet, at the end of the game, and this is what I want to focus on. So that's the first player, Xavier Worthy. I don't know if it's too late for fantasy stuff or however exactly that works. Get him, trade for him. I mean, the Chiefs are. Travis Kelce is going to command the double team. Noah Gray is talented. Rashee Rice is really talented. Interesting guy off the field, but I guess that's for another day. But it's this guy, Xavier Worthy, is going to be the difference maker. You can just tell he is so fast and this misdirection. So I actually give the Ravens defense a lot of credit for getting off the field at the end of the game and being able to get a stop. So let's go to the next player that jumped out. And this is the most exciting thing about the entire game for me was Trenton Simpson. Unbelievable. I don't look at the stats. Sometimes tackles, it's hard to judge. The guys get in there close. If you watch the game yesterday, he was fantastic. He's all over the place. And then he makes, I thought it was a cornerback, probably because he's wearing number 23 for a second. So you had to like double take. It's like the linebacker usually doesn't wear 23. But on the last play for the Chiefs, it's 3rd and 10, I think. And Mahomes is rolling out, and it just feels like a nightmare. Like he's going to make a play. I'm sure the guy was open, but Simpson gets his hands on it, tips it up in the air, nearly gets intercepted. I don't even know how Mahomes caught the ball. There's two Ravens right there. But what an athletic play by Trenton Simpson. He also got credited for half a sack when they held up Mahomes earlier in the game. He flashed to me. I mean, it wasn't unexpected because you've been following him in the preseason and then last year against the Steelers. This is an upgrade from Patrick Queen. I thought he was great. I thought that play at the end was like there's certain plays that just stick out where you're like, how many guys can make that play? I don't know. That was exciting for me to say. And then the third player was, it made me look good. That was probably be the best bets I can possibly give out for the entire football season was Isaiah Likely's props yesterday. I knew he was undervalued. I didn't know it was that undervalued. I mean, my God, what a stat line for him. But more interesting, that's where the ball went at the end of the game. So what I've been talking about with the Ravens is what are we doing on 3rd and 4, 4th and 3, 3rd and 5? Like, where's the ball going to go? Early in the game, 4th and 3, second quarter, I think it was about like 9.5 minutes left. And I give Harbaugh credit. He's like, you know what? We're just going to go for it. If we get blown out today, we get blown out. But I'm not putting the ball back. We're already losing. Let's just go for it. So I like that energy. I think it was 10-7 at the time. And it was that third down play. Lamar threw a shoulder, knocked the defensive back like 5 yards. So it's 4th and 3. But Aguilar, I don't think understood the play call because it actually, upon replay, it's a great little play. He throws the ball out to Flowers, and if Aguilar just blocks, it looks like Flowers is going to, get 15, 20 yards. Instead, Aguilar doesn't block, and Flowers doesn't really have a chance to make the guy miss. and the camera cut to Aguilar and Lamar talking when they got off the bench or got off the, went to the bench, got off the field, and just looked like some miscommunication. I thought it was interesting because I said before, the game, I've been saying it, all season, all preseason, excuse me, that the hierarchy has to be Andrews, Likely, Flowers. And I knew that was going to be a little bit of a hot take because Likely over Flowers. And, Andrews has the car accident, still coming back from an injury, slash, maybe Likely's already better. I don't know. I didn't watch. You got to watch the all 22 to see exactly how they're defending Andrews. All I know is at the end of the game, the ball just keeps going to Likely. Almost every single play felt like. So he's the third player that jumps out. The prop bets hit, makes me look good. That's for sure. And more importantly, for the Ravens, he's emerging. So if they got to move off Andrews at the end of the year, depending on how the contract looks, slash other teams are going to have to pay more attention to Likely than they thought they would. The thing that I like the most about Likely is there's a dog in him. And it's always been this way with the Ravens tight ends going back to, I guess, Shannon Sharp when we first won the first Super Bowl. Just physical, want to take the hits. I mean, that's like that for all the Ravens players. But Flowers kind of hip hops around, doesn't love to take hits. We had Hollywood Brown in there. We've had some skinnier receivers who don't want to take all the hits, which is okay. But having Derrick Henry, we'll get to him in a second. But I like the identity of Likely, and Andrews as the dynamic duo. Flowers was still good. He's still very dynamic, really fast. He beat McDuffie early in the game on that first drive, which is just, he's one of the best corners in the NFL. So Flowers was definitely solid. Bateman makes a great catch at the end. It gave us a chance. But, as Lamar continues to develop, it's easier for him to hit the big guys over the middle. And, that's not an anomaly. That's the case for a lot of young quarterbacks. And Lamar still is a young quarterback figuring things out in the second system with Monken. So, all right, those were positives. Henry, I thought they could have ran the ball more. They ran decent in the first half. They could have ran more in the second half. But, it's the first game. I think that I want to see more RPOs. We don't need to just hand the ball off to him, but if Lamar is willing to run as much as he's willing to run, I hope that they can bring the RPOs into it because that's in Lamar's first couple of years. That was what felt like was unstoppable. These RPOs. I didn't see a lot of that yesterday. Hopefully we see more. Big game from Justice Hill, especially that first drive. It was like third and long twice in a row, and he makes the play. So Lamar was quick. Lamar was dynamic. Lamar's a ton of fun. Thank God he's our quarterback because, man, what a nightmare it is probably every play defending him or thinking about what he's going to do. As a fan, you don't know what he's going to do, but at least more times than not, it turns into a positive. He's got to hold on to the football. But again, the defense held up. Couple drops. They didn't show the replay on Kelsey's drop. I don't know if people picked up on that, but on the first quarter, I think it was first quarter, it might have been the second quarter, but he drops the ball. It would have been a touchdown. They didn't show the replay on that. Our defense held up. Excuse me. They held up after that Lamar fumble. The defense was good enough to win. I know 27 points is 27 points, but it was good enough to win. So that's that. Let's see. Gambling perspective. J Mart hit one, he didn't hit the Derrick Henry bet. It's a tough bet to not hit. They just didn't give him the ball enough there in the second half. Gets the field goals with Bucker. And this is just depends on what numbers you get, right? So I put out 23 and 46.5. This is why charging for picks turns into a nightmare. And thank God I'm out of that business because, if you tell somebody where to bet it at, and they get a different number, it always turns into, hey, you told me this, you told me that. Why are you saying this? Why are you saying that? My advice is whatever number you're going to get it at, like whatever bet you're going to make. If you're going to take the over, you're going to take the under. If it lands on a half a point, like if it's 46.5, like it was yesterday, and you want to take the under, just bump it up to 47 so you don't get screwed there. And if you want to take the over, bump it down to 46. If it lands on 46.5, 45.5, 35.5, whichever side you're going to bet it on, this would be my rule of thumb. Unless you're confident enough to take the alternative line, And for those of you that don't know what that is, on these sites, they'll make, whoever the favorite is, a bigger favorite. Whatever the over under is, they'll jack it up several points one way or the other, and the odds will go the other way, right? Like the juice will affect it. Sorry if I didn't explain that great. So if the over under yesterday was 47 for the Ravens Chiefs, the alternative I believe was 53 and a half, and they paid you 2.25 to 1. So if you love the over enough to bet over 53 and a half, then maybe skip the buying the half a point. But if you don't and you feel like it's closer to a 50-50 game, you could see it going either way, and you're betting a lot of money or you're betting a lot of games, my advice is take the half a point. These games are so close. These guys, these odds makers they're not bad, right? They're not bad. So they were on the money yesterday. My bets end up going 3-0 because I push at halftime and I get lucky. Well, I don't feel like I got lucky. I was going to win either way because I had the under. So if the Ravens scored, they scored, but I had 46 and I'm sorry, jeez, I had the over. It'd be nice if I can get my head on straight. So I had the over and I had it 46 and a half. So I'd already won. If the Ravens score there, it just would have doubled it it would have made it an easier win, but worked out for me there. It's not always going to work out. And it is what it is. With the Ravens, as I said yesterday, I didn't bet, will not bet significant money on the Ravens in the regular season, just too emotional about it and takes away the fandom. Similar, I already experienced it with the Orioles. So not going down that road. And let's see. I think that's pretty much it with the Ravens game. I'm not discouraged. I guess the overall takeaway is don't bet against the Chiefs this year. Wouldn't shock me if they won every single game. They probably won't. Odds say they'll lose at least 3 or 4, but I don't know, man. They're going to be really tough on offense, and their defense. I think they need another pass rusher or two. But that Ravens offense is, dynamic. So I think I'll know more about the Chiefs defense as we move along. But they got their safety Brian Cook back, who he's the one that hit likely at the end of the game. There, he's really good. Yeah, the Chiefs are really good. Ravens will be fine. They might have to scrap and get 10 or 11 wins. Might not get the 1 seed this year, but we'll be fine. Tonight this is such a weird game. Not only are they in Brazil, but I want to bet the Packers, and then so I got to think about it today. But I read yesterday. This is just so funny to me, because I used to be a high school basketball coach. This resonated. The headline was the Packers are traveling like a high school football team. I was like, wait, what does that mean? So apparently their hotel it's going to take them anywhere from 90 minutes to 2 hours to get from their hotel to the football game today, because of traffic. Just funny when you say that out loud. Like, but anyway, that's the story, which makes me. If you told me the Eagles were 2 hours away, I think I would like empty out the bank account here on the Packers, because I'm like, the Eagles don't even like each other to begin with. So they got to spend 2 hours on the bus ride together. That'll help. The fact that the Packers are doing it, they're a young team. They're not too far away from high school. I feel like for a lot of those guys, I don't know. Maybe it won't bother them. It's just a little bit of a weird dynamic. I want to bet the Packers tonight. I'm definitely not betting the Eagles. I gotta pay attention to the next like 7-8 hours, as funny as that sounds, because I don't know how I'm supposed to bet on the game, right? I want to make sure the Packers get to the stadium. I want to make sure they're warming up and everything's copacetic, because this is such a weird game playing in Brazil. Definitely not betting the Eagles, fading the Eagles all season, but it wouldn't shock me if anything happened, because it's an international game and just different. It's hard to prepare. So I'll have a write up on that. College football tomorrow. Get an early start. Texas, Michigan is at noon. So we'll have college football out in the morning. Let's see. Anything else? I could carry on forever. So much going on. So much going on. But yeah, I think that's good for today. Let's do that. I'll do all my NFL picks. I think for this week I'll have all my NFL picks on Sunday, just because on a personal note, there's just a lot going on here on the family front this afternoon. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it, but I guess may as well just say it for a few minutes, because I don't know. Maybe I'll just get it off my chest. But so these school shootings, I guess I'm like numb to it because there's just so many of them. And I don't like thinking about it. So, and I don't like doing the investigation afterwards because it's like you never know what they're telling you is true. So then you got to spend all this time reading all these different things to try to do your own investigation, which is exhausting and then depressing. But this school shooting happened to be, I guess, like less than 40 minutes away from the school that my fiance teaches at down here in Georgia. And the weird part, I guess, the reason why I'm bringing it up is it still didn't have an impact on me the way I guess I think it should, or I would assume it would if you told me ahead of time this was going to happen. But it's like just being numb to things is unfortunate in a way. But that's just was my feeling until this morning when there's random threats again at surrounding schools, and this time the school is closer. So then, parents are texting because she's an elementary school teacher. So they're texting, is it okay to bring the kids to school? And I'm still like, it didn't really hit me until I always drop her off at school in the morning. So I dropped her off today, and then it did. It finally hit me because, she's not in a great mood. Kind of look around some of the other teachers, and it's just like, man, just not I don't even know the point of saying it out loud, but I guess the point is put things in perspective. And the only thing I can think of, because I'm sure smarter people out there are trying to come up with solutions, is if you notice that somebody's not in a good mood, even if it doesn't seem like it's a big deal, especially with kids when their brains aren't developed, just say something. Everybody should say something, like just talk, let them get the anger out. I work with kids, and I guess my specialty with the kids at the Boys and Girls Club is I let them get away with more than maybe they would be technically allowed to. But it's to get the anger out, because if you discipline them before all the anger's out, I tend to think this is the kind of things that happen where yeah, it's okay to be angry for a couple minutes, like get it out, figure it out, and then move on. Because, but if it stays inside, bad things happen usually. So, yeah. Anyway, just the weird day all the way around. So I might not be, yeah, definitely not gonna bet a lot of money on this game tonight. Probably put a little something for some entertainment into a parlay, and just a reminder that, yeah, enjoy life. Things happen fast, so no point to hold grudges or the powers in forgiveness anyway. So, all right, I don't even know exactly what I rambled about, but I'm not restarting it. So there you go. Hope everybody has a good day, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the morning. All right, see ya.